Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Portfolio Playbook. In this episode, Sophia and I talked to some employers who visited Grady. We got direct feedback from them on what makes a portfolio stand out, so you get to hear straight from the source. Let's take a look.
Hey, I'm Stephen Adams with Tegna, and I look at resumes and portfolios all day long. Let's take a look at portfolios. The very first thing I want you to think about is it doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to be user-friendly. Anyone looking at your portfolios doesn't have a lot of time on their hands. So making buttons easily clickable so it's easy to read from left to right. So let's take a look at this first one from Savannah. So up here, when I look in this upper bar right here, I can see the About, I can see my work, and Contact, excuse me. Those are pretty good buttons, right? But if I go into Contact, hopefully, yeah, I can get a hold of right here an email address and a phone number. That's great. That's better than a generic contact page. You have both, so that's totally okay. But in this case, where I can grab that email really quick, that's super useful for me. So Sophia's top, if I'm reading from left to right, home, stories, beat coverage, graphic design, resume. I would think about making one of these buttons Contact just so I can get that email really, really easily. I also think you can combine some of these elements, right? Stories and beat coverage. I would assume your beat coverage elements are stories. So just thinking about less is more and just really, really easy for me to get in and read. This is McCain Bracewell. McCain on here, oh, it's kind of set up like a newspaper, a digital newspaper. That's creative, but it's also easy to read. Home, about me, writing, resume, photojournalism work. That's great. If it's just easy on both ends, creative and easy to read, this I would say is pretty much the gold standard for what I would love for a portfolio to be. All right, Libby, so if I'm reading from left to right, I think this takes up a lot of space over here for me to get over to your things over here, your About, Bylines, Resume, Contact. Again, glad you've got the really obvious buttons here. I think I would either move this more centered or move it over in some way so we can make better use of space. You could also put these stacked over here potentially as a way where my eyes reading from left to right, I'm drawn to the stuff that's most going to help me in my job first. We're looking at Jesse's portfolio. Here we've got a lot of buttons here, so there are almost maybe too many, so I might limit just to a few. This one, for instance, journalistic programs, not really sure what that is, but when I scroll in, digital native, study abroad, right? These are things that really might show you off well, but aren't necessarily things that are a time save for the person who might be looking at your portfolio. So think about your end user. The same way if you were producing a TV show, it's all for your end user. When you're producing a digital portfolio, it's all for me on the receiving end. So think about fewest mouse clicks I can use and easiest way to get in touch with you.
Savannah Hernandez. I really like the photography off the top, kind of grabs me and pulls me in. This is pretty easy to find, so if you're applying for on-camera roles, I like having the demo reel where it's really easily accessible. And then if I scroll down the page, I would just want to make sure that finding a resume link is really easy. That's the one thing that I don't see off the bat. But McCain Bracewell, a lot of articles on it. If the intent is digital photography, I'd probably want to see more photographs off the top of it, just to draw me in. These are nice at the bottom, but perhaps moving these to the top so they're easy to find. A Davenport, the red and black writing, so this is great. I like having the image with the article. That kind of pulls me in to the different types of writing that she's doing. And then having some video on this page is really nice too. There is a lot on it, so as an employer, I might not be looking for this if I'm just trying to get to know someone a little bit, but I like that she has beat coverage on here and that I can easily find her resume.
And that's it for today. Remember, getting feedback is so important for making a great portfolio, so keep improving and good luck. See you next time.